Hi, thank you for clicking on my channel. I want to give a backstory of how I manifested a luxury 2-bedroom apartment with my 2 children, coming from a place where I felt like I was very undeserving and that good things were not meant for me. A couple months prior, 6 months prior to me living here, I was in the worst state of my life. I was depressed. I was at rock bottom. I had suicidal thoughts. I felt very undeserving of life itself. And I was living in a home environment that was extremely toxic and abusive, not only self-abusive, but abusive from a partner. And in this state of mind, I did not feel as if I would ever receive better. And thankfully, and I say thankfully because God did me a favor and allowed an extreme traumatic event to happen in my life that catapulted me to wake up and to realize this is not it, and there is so much more out here for me to accomplish and do, instead of being in this home where I felt as if no one cared, or I felt as if I didn't have a voice. So the extremely traumatic event that occurred forced me to live with family. And if anyone out there has lived with family after living on your own, you know how complicated it can be to adjust to someone else's home, as well as you're used to walking around cooking in the kitchen the way you like, maybe in your bra and panty, and then you're in someone else's home and it doesn't work like that anymore. So I knew I needed a miracle. And I remember listening to a Janae Aiko's song during my pregnancy. She has gotten me through so much with her music. But she said in the lyric, maybe you're the miracle waiting for a miracle. And even just saying it right now, it still brings me back to the first time I heard it, because in that situation, I definitely needed a miracle, and I felt motivated to become my own miracle. So here I am living with family and still feeling undeserving, but realizing that, okay, I can change this. And the first thing that I began to do in order to change that mindset was affirmations. Now, affirmations is something that I used to do prior to my toxic relationship that I was in. And I just kind of slipped away from it. I got lost in my relationship. I got lost in life, period. And I fell completely off from affirming things that I truly wanted to believe about myself. So affirmations, just a quick definition, or my personal definition of an affirmation, would be something that you tell yourself, whether it's written down, verbally, or in your mind, to reprogram your mind to actually believe and achieve. So during this time, the one thing I wanted more than anything was to feel worthy, because at this moment, I'm still feeling as if the world is against me and I'm not supposed to be successful, and maybe I am worthless. You know, the things that people has told me in the past, I really begin to believe. One thing you have to decide for yourself is, are you going to believe what they called you or what they said in the spell that they cast upon your life, or are you going to believe what you tell yourself that you are? And I started doing these affirmations in the mirror, where I prefer to do it. I like to look at myself and actually feel the vibrations of my words coming out of my mouth in order to reprogram my mind. So one of my favorite affirmations that I use pretty often was, everything I want wants me. And I use that one daily, maybe too many times a day, because now I believe that everything I want wants me. And when something doesn't come to me, I just feel like, that doesn't want me because I don't really want it, you know? So it helps you realize that you're not doing the work alone. Things are attracting towards you, just like you're trying to manifest and attract towards it as well. Now, don't get me wrong, it's perfectly fine to vibrate low, because we're humans. We get upset, we get sad, we get depressed. Life does get hard. But you acknowledge that, hey, I'm vibrating at a very low frequency right now. Life is too amazing for this. Everything is going to work out in my favor. You just simply speak back to your mind and reassure yourself that it's going to work out, because in the end of the day, it always does and it always will. I also had affirmations for my financial situation, such as money flows to me effortlessly and frequently, and I am rich in all aspects of life. These affirmations allowed me to see myself as abundant and see myself as rich which in reality manifested into a luxury apartment. Another step that I took in order to manifest a luxury apartment was prayer. Prayer was simply talking and speaking to the universe, to my divine God. And when I have these conversations with with nature, or with the moon, or with a tree, or anything that I feel connected to at that moment, it allowed my frequency to raise and vibrate even higher, because I was in the present moment and I wasn't dwelling on what happened or what's going to happen. I was simply having a conversation and being thankful and showing gratitude in that present moment. Or even though I was uncomfortable in the home that I was in, I had a roof over my head. So I had no choice but to be grateful that I wasn't homeless on the street. And even this, so if I was homeless on the street, I could still be grateful that I'm alive. So no matter how terrible the situation or the current circumstances that you're in, no matter how depressing or no matter how you feel you're not going to get out of it, there's always something to show gratitude about, whether it's you being able to open your eyes and have vision to see, or to move your arm and have hands to touch things, and just so many things that we take for granted. And in that moment during my prayer sessions, I always made sure to show and prove that, hey, I'm not happy, but these are the things that make me happy. So these are the things I'm going to focus my attention on, instead of the things that I was uncomfortable with, or just the idea that I wasn't comfortable in the living situation. So we as humans, we have so much power. When we focus on something negative, it's a ripple effect. When we focus on something positive, it's also a ripple effect. So my intentions were to simply focus on the great things of the world, and hopefully and eventually start receiving them. And that's exactly what happened for me, and that's exactly what can happen for you. Gratitude is definitely the number one thing that allowed me to manifest this apartment, because I know that if I sat up in my family member's home and just had an attitude every day and just felt like life sucks and this is the worst thing that can ever happen to me, I would not be here right now. The moment this traumatic event happened for me, I made the conscious decision to allow the traumatic event to change my life for the better. Better and not bitter. And I know it sounds like a cliche quote, but once you go through something extreme, you realize that all of those cliche quotes are real life, and it's true. Like all of those quotes that we used to hear about how what doesn't kill you makes you stronger, and all these sayings, you understand that, okay, I'm an adult now, this is what they were talking about when they said these things. So I'm highly grateful for being grateful. I'm highly grateful that I was able to be grateful. So wait, I hadn't started manifesting the luxury apartment specifically just yet. When I started doing the affirmations and the prayer, it was simply just to feel happy again. It was simply just to feel worthy and, not be so miserable about the event that just took place in my life. During COVID, I started providing makeup traveling services, going to different people's homes. And this one girl in particular, whose home I went to, she was about my age and she lived in a luxury apartment, and that was my first time ever seeing someone my age live in such luxury. It was gorgeous. I was just in awe that she got to walk up in a home like that. And I mean, besides Airbnbs and things like that, I wasn't used to seeing luxury things. I wasn't. And because I went to her home, that gave me hope. And with the thought of hope, knowing that if she can have it, I can too, that catapulted my manifestation into heights. If you don't see the things that you want to manifest, it's going to be a little more difficult because you don't have a visualization or an image in your head to focus on. So the fact that my brain just noticed, hey, a woman my age lives in luxury, oh my goodness, you can have it too, that thought process woke up a part of me that was sleeping my entire life. You really have to see the things that you want, because when you see it, then you know that it's out there for grabs. That night after I left her home, I went home to my family member's home. It was a full moon outside, and I looked up to the moon and I just started talking and manifesting a luxury apartment. And I started visualizing her home. I started visualizing the granite countertops that I saw. I started visualizing the big balcony outside. I started visualizing the 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom that my kids could have. And after I was done manifesting that night, I went to sleep. And I woke up the next morning and I went downstairs and my sister said, "April, are you moving?" And I said, I said, "Not yet, why?" She said, my daughter had just came downstairs and said, auntie, I'm gonna have my own room, we're gonna be moving soon. And yeah, like, mind you, I never told my daughter anything about us moving. I just manifested the apartment that night before. I knew that was the universe telling me that yes, your manifestation is on its way, and I was just getting confirmation through my child. And that definitely put me in a state of, okay, I'm going by this the right way. Now, what I did mess up, where I did go wrong, was I put a date on it. I said, God, I need this apartment by Christmas. And by saying that, I was vibrating at a state of desperation. Now, we're normally in a rush. Every day we want what we want when we want it, and we don't really give enough attention and enough appreciation to divine timing. I know I didn't. Our time, our human time, is of the world, and God's time is of the divine, and it gets no better than that. So I had to just be patient. One thing about patience, I'm an Aries, the most impatient sign of them all. But in this state of manifesting, I had no choice but to be patient. And it did me a favor. It did me a favor at the end of the day. Now I'm not always rushing. Now I'm actually trusting divine time to unfold. Once you realize that time is an illusion, it allows you to calm down a lot more. And I'll get to that in another video if that just tripped you out. But it allowed me to realize that I already have a luxury apartment. It's just not mine yet. Like, in another reality, in another time, I already have this luxury apartment. I already have all my desires. I'm just trying to experience it right now in this present moment. But please understand me when I say we manifest daily. Whether we know it or not, we manifest accidentally, but I choose to manifest purposely. So in this case, you can purposely decide to manifest something. Be specific, be very, very specific, and you will receive wherever it is that you ask for. So another step that I took in order to manifest this luxury apartment was to disconnect. I disconnected through fasting. Normally, I'll go days without any food. And this is another religious concept, but it's very helpful due to the fact that when you sacrifice something that you really, really want, you're showing the universe that she or he definitely is willing to do anything for what it is that they want. They're willing to sacrifice food in order to receive what they truly desire. And that just put me at such a high vibration, because whatever you decide to give up, if you decide to go on a fast, I'm not saying it's a complete, absolute necessary thing to do, but if you feel compelled to go on a fast, it doesn't have to just be food. It doesn't have to be anything, like that. You can also just give up social media for a few days, or give up listening to a certain genre of music that it doesn't put you in a high vibrational state of mind. So when you give up the music without a message, it's always smart to start listening to music with a message. You listen to more inspirational music, whether it's gospel music, and you listen to this high frequency music to connect with source energy, and you allow that feeling in that moment, and you just close your eyes and listen to the music, and you sway back and forth, and you move your body to the music, and that's putting you in alignment at that moment with our higher source. When you need to feel secure, when you need to feel safe, when you need to feel worthy, when you need to feel a reason to be alive, go outside and soak up this sun. This sun energy can bring you from feeling depleted to liberated, and take advantage of that. We have so many free resources to uplift our moods if only we'll put ourselves in a state of mind to actually look for it and appreciate it while we have it. So it's within the 6 months, I went from 2 different family members' homes, and at this point you can imagine how complicated things were for me. I started feeling doubtful because the lack of stability for my children was driving me crazy. And I had to just keep focused. I had to keep believing that eventually this would be over, sooner than later. So I started reading this book by Dr. Joe Dispenza called Becoming Supernatural. The book explained meditation and how you can heal yourself from the inside out. And meditation just allows you to bring your focus to the current moment, and to just sit in peacefulness and stillness and balance and calmness. And this is the most powerful thing that you can do to manifest the life of your dreams. I'll go outside, I'll put my back against a tree, and I'll sit in nature, foot in the grass, back against the tree, And scripting, I'll have a journal with me, which is a very important part of manifestation also. If you never heard of scripting, it's simply getting a journal or a notepad and writing down what it is that you're trying to manifest as if it's already there. So an example that I used was, I am so happy and grateful that I now get to wake up in a luxury 2-bedroom apartment with my children. I have a large washer and dryer that I no longer have to go to the laundromat to wash my clothes. I'm so grateful for that. I have a nice, big, beautiful balcony where I can go outside and meditate and connect with higher source energy. And be very specific about the things that I wanted in my apartment, whether it was my children's room and how beautifully I wanted it to be decorated, and the granite countertops and the high ceiling. Another thing that I want to add is do not settle. When you feel like you're tired and you don't want to wait anymore and you're about to give up, so you just settle, it's not worth it. It's not worth it. You have nothing to lose and everything to gain. So be as specific as you can with manifesting, and don't settle for anything less than, because like I said before, everything you want wants you. So within the last week of me manifesting, right before I moved into this apartment, I had to live in a hotel for 4 days with my children. And at that point, I was like, okay, God, what is going on? I know I've been going about this the right way. I know I've been manifesting luxury for the past 6 months, and it's like things keep getting worse and worse. I went from one house to another house to a hotel, and I just knew that, okay, I have to be close. I have to be close. Like I'm about to hit extreme rock bottom. While I was at this hotel, I started listening to subliminals. Subliminals are high frequency sounds that has your affirmations hidden inside the music. So your unconscious mind can hear the affirmations, but your conscious mind cannot. I'll listen to the specific subliminal, which I'll link down below, and it was a manifesting apartment subliminal where I'll fall asleep to it and I'll listen to it the whole night through. Then the second day when I woke up in the hotel, I looked in my bank account and I had the money to move. I had all of the money I needed to move, and I instantly looked for an apartment that was willing to move me in like that same week, which is sometimes kind of hard here in the South Florida area. You have to look and search for an apartment, and it takes time for an approval. But I got approved the next day, and I didn't have to pay first rent, last rent, or security. In South Florida, you normally have to pay first, last, and security in order to move. So I had more than enough money in order to move into my apartment, as well as to have money left over. So just that feeling of when I walked into this apartment the first time, it was the same feeling that I had when I visualize and manifest and script and meditate on this desire that I wanted. And to feel, okay, this is the feeling that I've been feeling the entire way, just goes to prove that whatever you feel, you attract. Because that moment just brought it all full circle for me. And not only that, but the neighborhood that I now live in is so much more resources and opportunity for me to meditate. I live close to a beach. I live near nice parks that I can go into in nature. My apartment management, they have yoga sessions at the pool every month. I have a 24-hour gym where I can go and take care of my body. I have a local whole food less than 5 minutes away that I can go and eat high vibrational healthy foods. Living over here influences me to be my best self, not only for myself but for those around me. So thank you for staying with me throughout this entire video. I just didn't want to make this video too long, so although that is what I did to manifest this apartment, I have so many more details. So let me know if you want a part 2 to this video. I can go into a little more detail on exactly what I did. And just thank you for starting off this journey with me, because I have so much information to give, and I want to just make sure that I'm expressing it in the best way where I feel, where I'm understood and I'm heard and I feel related to. And I don't want to come off as an all-knowing person, because a wise person knows that they know nothing. Thank you for being here with me, you dear beautiful soul. I hope you see the light in yourself like I see it in you, because it's so easy to see it in others and not yourself. But look in the mirror and know that you are light. Look in the mirror and know that everything you want truly wants you back. Thank you for tuning in, and please make sure you watch my next video.